do want to say it's so far been McBain's ball game here. They started right off the bat with a layup and then a 3.
Apologize, folks, if there's any. We're having a little bit of technical difficulties. Give us just one moment here. Okay, I apologize for the mix-up there. Technical difficulties solved. We had a little bit of mic muting there. We're back now. Van Polen over to Hinton, over to Reininck. Reininck goes over to Van Polen. Up to Roosevelt, under the bowl. Roscommon ball, 12 over to number 4. That was Bunn over to Hamina. Up to 24, John Rowe. Stolen by Reininck. Back to Roosevelt. Roosevelt Van Polen. Van Polen searching for a play here. Up to Hinton. Hinton back to Van Polen. Van Polen shooting 3, but it's no good. Roosevelt going back up for 2, and it's good. For 2, Monroe. And for Hamina, and then Monroe has it again. Back to Hamina. Hamina goes up for 2, but it's defended there by the Ramblers. It's a foul on Wallinges. Hamina will be shooting 2. First one off the left side of the fishbowl. Well, no good. Going for a second. Swirls right around the back of the bowl. Retrieved by Van Polen. Deep pass up to Reininck. Reininck shooting 3, but it's no good. Van Polen. Van Polen looking for an opening. Being defended heavily by Hamina until there was a travel. Bunn passing in for the Bucks. Bunn passes it over to John Rowe. John over to Hamina. Hamina goes up for 2, but it bounces off the bowl. Retrieval by Wallinges over to Van Polen. Van Polen up to Hinton. Shoots for 2. And it's good. All net. Bunn over to Hamina. Back to Bunn. Bunn up to Hamina. Defended heavily from a full court press from the Ramblers. Van Polen to pass in over to Roosevelt. Roosevelt over to Reininck. Up to Wallinges. Goes up for 2. No good. Over to Hinton. And then Reininck. Back to Van Polen. Van Polen circling key, going for a 3. But it's no good. Taken by Hamina. Hamina up to Bunn. Bunn back to Hamina. Hamina up to Bunn. Bunn shooting for 3. It's no good. Wallinges there. Over to Van Polen. Van Polen calling a play here. Over to Hinton, back to Van Polen. Van Polen going for 3, but it's no good. Taken back by Wallinges. Over to Roosevelt, who went up for 2, but it was no good. Wallinges fighting for that ball.
Great effort there by Wallinges, trying to get the ball right back, trying to grab it right out of the defender's hands, but unfortunately, it was still in her hands when she tried to put it back up, but right there, just wonderful effort there by Tim O'Malley's offense. That's one thing I know Coach O'Malley works his team on, is how to play defense very well and how to play their offense very well. He wants a fast game, and they want them to get the ball as much as they can.
Oh, definitely. Really just emphasizes that full court pressing there. Van Pullen going for three. It's no good. Hinton stolen by John Rowe. Bounced out of bounds by a Rambler. Bunn to pass in. Bunn to Hamina. Almost blocked by Blood. Hamina up to Bunn. Bunn going under the bowl. Going up for two, but it was no good. Foul on 22, Roosevelt. Shooting two. Bunn going up for her first. First one's no good off the back of the fishbowl. Flying up the backboard. Switching out 22, Valentino for number 10, Maxick. Bouncing off the left side of the rim, but no good. Ridgway there. Ridgway driving the ball. Up to Blood. Over to Roosevelt, who scores a two. Fun. Intended receiver there would have been Hamina. Ball went just out of play there. Roosevelt to throw in, and it was over to Blood. Back to Roosevelt under the hoop, but it's no good. Paul tries to go up for two, but it's no good. Foul on number 2, Monroe. Shooting two. First one's good. Solid sink. Splash two right there. All right, Bunn over to Mina. Mina up to John Rowe. John Rowe over to Monroe. Back to Hamina. Up to Monroe. Over to Bunn. Bunn shooting three, but it was no good. Hamina with the ball. Trying to pass it over there to John Rowe. Tough Rambler defense in the key there. Bunn to pass in. Over to Hamina. Oh, sorry, Monroe. Over to John Rowe. Back to Monroe. Over to Bunn. Bunn over to John Rowe. Tapped out by Blood there. Bunn to pass. Over to Hamina. Stolen by Roosevelt. Roosevelt with the hard drive. Over to Hall. Hall shooting three, but it's no good. It'll be Bunn over to John Rowe. John Rowe over to Monroe. Monroe looking for an open player here. Back to Hamina, over to John Rowe. Back to Monroe. Bounced over the shoulder there. They're right out of bounds. That'll be Rambler ball. That'd be Hall passing to Ridgway. Ridgway over to Hall. Hall into Roosevelt, but intercepted by Blood. Blood went up for two, but it was no good. John Rowe running all the way. Pass to Bunn. Bunn up to Maxick. The foul on the play. From Adrian Roosevelt. All right. This one's no good. Yeah, definitely just take back on what you said there, Cade. The Ramblers are just hard defense here. I mean, you can tell they were just holding the key there well.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to make sure nobody got into.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was going to go on and say after that, before that whistle blew there, sorry.
Yeah.
But they're not allowing anybody in for layups, and that's one thing Tim doesn't want. They don't want the other team getting very easy points. So if they can keep them to a 3-point line and have them take their chances with that, then that's better off than getting in for easy layups.
Mm-hmm. All right. Ridgeway and Hall on the run up. Over to Hall. Hall over to Bosher, over to Ridgeway. Ridgeway driving it in. On the backside of the board. It's no good. Hall over to Blood. Stolen by Jean Rowe. Taken back by Rawson. Over to Ridgeway. Ridgeway shooting 3, but it's no good. That was Bosher over to Hall. He went for 2, and it was good. Splash 2. Bun up to 14. Janisa. Over to Jean Rowe, back to Janisa. Over to Bun. One drive up to Maxick. Stolen by the Ramblers. Long pass up to Blood, but it was no good. .30 seconds left in the quarter. Stolen by Janisa. In the bottom of the key now, thrown back to Bun. All over to Ridgeway. Ridgeway searching for a play. Over to Bosher, shoots for 3. That's no good. Rawson on a travel. Bun to pass in. Or Jean Rowe. Jean Rowe driving the ball. Travel on Jean Rowe. Hall over to Ridgeway. Ridgeway going for a hold. Going into the second quarter here.
Oh,
JV game.
Right there, so far, Cameron. First quarter, it was very much a one-sided affair. It seemed like with McBain taking 15 and the Roscommon Bucks having 3. Now going into the second quarter here, I bet you Tim O'Malley is going to be telling his players, well, great first quarter there, guys, but I believe we can do better. We can put in more and more effort because we are more capable than anything. I mean, this JV team has proved and proved so far this season, their sky is the limit. I mean, they keep going and going and going, winning all these games and always putting up fantastic points up on the board. I mean, their scores, they average above 30 points a game for sure. I don't know the exact average, but I know it's always above 30.
Yeah.
So now for the Roscommon Bucks here, what they got to get saying is we got to get the ball rolling here. We got 3 points on the board, and they have 15 points. We got to keep going. We got to put the pedal to the floor. We got to make this game back. We got to get back in the game. We got to get close again. We got to get this game up to 15-15 so we can try and change the ball game here. I mean, they need to build some momentum for sure. I mean, they look defeated almost right now. So I bet you with some coach's help, they'll go right back on that floor with some determination to get the ball back.
Yeah, you can definitely tell, though, that their coach was telling them off just that first quarter that the Ramblers are going to be continuing probably to hold that strong defense. So they just need to try and push through or try and take it from the outside and shoot for 3s. Roosevelt going up for 2. Blood up for 2, but both are no good. Was it up for 2 again? And it's no good. Hinton up for 2, and it's good. Bun over to Janisa. Back to Bun. Up to Hamina. Hamina back to Bun. Bun probably up to Janisa, but it was pushed out and blocked by Reining. Bun over to Janisa. Over to Hamina. Over to Bun. Bun driving it. Foul on Roosevelt. Bun over to Hamina. Hamina shooting for 2. But it's no good. Wallinge is on the retrieve. Wallinge's long drive and pass up to Blood, back to Hinton. Hinton shoots for 3, and it's good. Bun over to Hamina, back over to Janisa. Janisa getting pressed by Van Polen and Reining. Hamina. Stolen by Van Polen. Van Polen over the shoulder of the Blood, goes up for 2, and it's good.
Great teamwork there between 2 players right there, between Van Polen and Blood. That's exactly what you want to see. Just, that was rough right there.
Some amazing footwork out there, though, definitely on that play that was there before.
Very much so, and great communication between 2 players. Van Polen was on the same page Michaela Blood was right there.
Yeah,
with
like
the pass perfectly timed, and her layup was perfect.
Like that over the shoulder was completely graceful. I mean, I'm speechless. Jean Rowe to pass in over to Hamina. Hamina open for 2, and it's good. Van Polen over to Reining. Reining back to Van Polen. Van Polen over to Hinton. Stolen by Jean Rowe. Jean Rowe driving all the way into the key, going up for 2, but it's no good. Van Polen with a long pass. Blood over to Wallinges, who shoots with a layup, and it's good. Jean Rowe up to Janisa. Over to Hamina. Hamina getting pressed by the Ramblers. Over to Jean Rowe. Jean Rowe over to Maxick. Back to Jean Rowe over to Hamina. Hamina looking for an opening, and she finds it, making a 2. Reining over to Van Polen. Van Polen up to Wallinges. Wallinges over to Blood. Blood going for 2, and it's good. Jean Rowe over to Hamina, back to Jean Rowe. Jean Rowe at the bottom of the key. Pass to Janisa. Up for 2, but it was no good. Jean Rowe for 2, and it's good. Right off the backboard. Van Polen and Reining. Back to Van Polen. Hard defense by the Ramblers on that last bit there. Van Polen over to Reining. Reining shooting for 3, but it's no good. Hamina on the intercept. Stolen by Blood. Blood bounce pass over to Van Polen, who shoots for a layup, and it's good. Right off the board. Jean Rowe over to Hamina. Over to Janisa. Taken by Wallinges, who tried passing to Van Polen, but was intercepted by Hamina. With a foul on Van Polen there.
We got some subs in here for McBain. We got, I believe that was Roby coming in along with Hinton once again.
Bun over to Hamina. Hamina getting heavily pressed by Hinton, who's trying to steal that ball there. And Blood over to Bun. Up to Monroe. 22, Valentina went up for 2, and Sorry, I was looking down at my paper, but Cade, who made that last shot there? I believe it was Monroe, but I can't be certain on that one.
I believe it was Monroe.
It was Monroe, okay. Ridgway over to Hinton. Hinton shoots for 2, and it's no good. Blood up for a layup, but it's good. Bunn over to Jean Rowe. Mina over to Bunn, who shoots for 2, and it's good. Roby passed into Ridgway. Ridgway finding that opening over to Blood. Blood going up for a layup, and it's good. Bunn over to Mina. Mina getting defended by Blood. Over to Jean Rowe. Jean Rowe over to Blood. Sorry, not Blood. Bunn. Wrong team. Stolen by Wallinges over to Ridgway. Ridgway for the long pass. Knocked out by Jean Rowe. Ridgway up for 2, but it was no good. Taken by Jean Rowe. Jean Rowe passing Blood up to Hamina. Going up for 2, but it was no good. Appears there was a foul on the play on number 1, Ridgway.
First team point, Cameron shooting 2.
His first is good. Up for a second, and it's good as well. Roby up to Ridgway. Ridgway over to Wallinges. Wallinges back to Ridgway. Ridgway with the travel, though. Cade, something I'm definitely seeing here is that the Bucks are really increasing their accuracy and precision. They're just nailing those shots now.
Yeah, I agree with you. I believe after that quarter end, the coach definitely told them, all right, guys, let's get on point here. And, with getting on point, that's exactly what they're doing. They brought it right back up to 15, but the Ramblers still do have a good deficit between the two with 31 points. So going into halftime, if Roscommon keeps this up, I bet you they'll be feeling a bit more comfortable.
Oh, absolutely. All right, Hull over to Roby, over to Ridgway. Ridgway over to Hull, but was stolen by Jean Rowe. Jean Rowe back to Hamina. Hamina up for 3, but it was no good. Monroe up for 2, and it's good. Hull over to Ridgway. Ridgway over to Hall. Hall shooting 3, but it's no good. Taken by Jean Rowe. Back to Bunn. Over to Jean Rowe, almost taken by Roby. Back to Bunn, though. Over to Monroe. Quick blaze, the ball just went right out of bounds there. Now McBain's ball. I believe Boscher was just switched in for Roby. Hall in for Ridgway there. Ridgway up to Wallinges. Wallinges up for 2, but it's no good. Monroe on the tip. Hall to pass in. Hall back to Ridgway. Ridgway shooting 2. And it's good. Splash 2. Bunn over to Hamina. Hamina up to Valentino. Back to Hamina. Oh, on Wallinges, Hall switching in for Van Polen here. Hamina to shoot 2, I believe.
Hamina shooting 2.
Rawson to switch in for Wallinges. Kamina up for second, and it's good swish. Van Polen to Hall, back to Van Polen. Van Polen over to Rawson. Rawson up for two, but it swishes around the fishbowl. Monroe on the take. Over to Bunn. Bunn passing the halfway. Bunn bounce pass into Monroe. Monroe going for a 180 layup, but it's no good. Taken back by Hall. Hall over to Ridgway. Ridgway over to Hall. Hall to Bosher. Bosher shooting three, but it's no good. Van Polen up for a layup, and it was good, solid. Bunn over to Mina. Mina over to Bunn. Bunn bounce pass into Valentino. Valentino up for two, but it was no good. Taken again by Hall. Bit of wishy-washy there, I guess is what I'd call that.
That'd be a over and back call.
Gotcha. So some wavy hand movements there. I wasn't quite sure on that one.
You're good. That's a good definition for it.
Yeah,
I kind of like that.
wishy-washy, I like that. Bunn over to Mina, back to John Rowe. John Rowe over to Bunn, shooting three. Bounce off the front of the bowl, but it's no good. Bunn to shoot for two, and it was good, but it was denied by the ref there.
Yep, did not go in before. By the time it got out of her hands, the clock already struck along with the buzzer. Well, that's your first half there for the JV girls game. 35 Ramblers, 18 Roscommon Bucks. And we will see you, ladies and gentlemen, after halftime.
Yeah. welcome back to Rambler Basketball, the JV game with the Ramblers against the Bucks of Roscommon. John Rowe over to Bunn. Sorry, I need to put on my glasses here. Bunn over to Hamina. Hamina over to John Rowe. John Rowe going up for two, but it's no good. Taken over by Ridgeway. Ridgeway just baking the biscuits on the floor, I guess. I don't know about that one. Too many steps. Bunn over to Hamina, but it was intercepted by Van Polen. Van Polen up for two, but it's no good.
Fouls on Aubrey Bunn. First, team first. And Van Polen shooting 2 from the baby.
Van Polen shooting two. First one's no good. Second one's good. Bunn to pass in. Bunn looking for an opening over to John Rowe. John Rowe driving the ball all the way to the key. Back to Monroe. Monroe over to Hamina. Hamina going up for two, but it's no good. Ridgeway now with the ball. Ridgeway looking for the play here. A drive up for a layup, and it's good. Splash two. Bunn to pass over to John Rowe. John Rowe intercepted by Roosevelt and Van Polen. Van Polen for the long pass up to Blood. Sorry, not Blood. My bad on that one. That was Wallinges who went up for two, and it was good. My bad, I got a mistake there. Bunn. Bunn getting defended by Ridgeway. Bunn over to John Rowe. John Rowe looking for a play. Seems to drive into it, but pass over to Hamina, but is no good for a two. Paul now with the ball, over to Van Polen. Van Polen over to Ridgeway. Ridgeway shooting three. And it's no good. Bounced out of bounds. It'll be the Bucks' ball. Bunn to pass in. Bunn over to John Rowe. John Rowe bounced in, but stolen by Roosevelt. Roosevelt goes up for two, and it's good. John Rowe. Now to pass in.
Timeout. Roscommon.
Timeout from Roscommon.
Well, during this halftime, we do have to mention our favorite sponsor,
Oh,
Little
exactly.
Town Jerky. So far tonight, we have the flavors teriyaki, barbecue,
And pepperoni.
and pepperoni. My personal favorite is the teriyaki. I don't know about you, Cameron, but it's a classic.
Oh,
I
definitely.
personally love it. So, but that's what we'll be snacking down here during this timeout on some Little Town Jerky. But before we get to snacking down, we're gonna get right back to the game here as the timeout is coming to an end here with 5 seconds left.
I just have to point out that Coach O'Malley has a cool little towel that has the main dog from Paw Patrol on it. Just had to point that out. Really interesting towel that I saw. John Rowe. Oh. Pushed back to John Rowe from Boscher. Over to Hamina. Hamina over to Monroe. Fist in the air from the ref. Seems there was a foul on 21. Van Polen. Monroe to shoot for two, I believe. and it's good. Second one, just a swish, splash 2. Roosevelt over to Van Polen. Van Polen looking for a play here. Over to Hall. Over to Roosevelt, bottom. Over to Wallinges, but it's getting defended hard by the Bucks. Hall to shoot 2. Bounce off the back of the fishbowl. Bunn on a retrieve. Bunn over to John Rowe. John Rowe over to Hamina. Hamina over to Valentino, who goes up for 2, but it's no good. Taken by Hall. Over to Van Polen. Van Polen up to Wallinges. Wallinges, fast feet there with travel.
Well, so far, McBain's JV, I mean, doing what they do almost every game, they create a deficit right off the get-go. I mean, right now we got 42-20, and it's just not stopping. I mean, it's pedaled to the floor still for McBain. Even on defense, they're just keeping it going. They're making sure the Roscommon Bucks cannot get in there. They're making sure they cannot get layups, and they're making sure the three-point line is closed off.
And you can definitely tell that the Bucks are just really amping up their defense there. You can tell it took the Ramblers just a second to find an opening there. That was good. Reining went up for 3, but it was no good. Bucks are even full court pressing now, as I saw, I believe. Reining over to Boscher, but intercepted by Jean Rowe. Bucks are playing a lot more fiercely here after the halftime. Bunn to pass in. Bunn over to Monroe. Monroe over to Bunn. Bunn drives up for a layup, and it's good. Reining into Van Polen. Van Polen over to Reining. Over to Roosevelt. Roosevelt up for 2. Splash. Reining on intercept. Travel though. Almost defended there by Van Polen, but it was over to Hamina from Bunn. Boscher with a foul. Bunn over to Hamina. Over to Boscher. Throw to Van Polen, who drives it all the way up for a layup. And it's good. John Rowe to pass in. Wallinges on the take. Over to Boscher, goes up for 2, but it's no good. Roosevelt to pass in. Roosevelt over to Blood. Blood over to Ridgway. Ridgway, top of the key, shooting for 3, and it's good. Bunn into Hamina. Hamina getting pressed by Ridgway. Over to Bunn. Bunn who drives it into the key. Up for 2, but it's no good. Roosevelt. Roosevelt over to Blood. Blood up to Roosevelt. Roosevelt trying to go up for 2, but it was no good. Roosevelt on take, going for another 2. But it's no good off the back of the fishbowl. Foul on Monroe. Roosevelt to shoot 2. First one's no good. Maxick to switch in for Valentino. Roosevelt shooting her second. Ball goes up, but it's no good. Bouncing from the front and the back, the fishbowl. Monroe on the take. Over to Mina. Mina getting pressed. Over to Janisa. Janisa all the way up to Maxick. Up to Bunn, who shoots for two. Spinning around the bowl, but it's no good. Knocked away by Bunn and out of bounds. Rambler ball. Roby to pass into Ridgeway there. Over to Running. Running up to Roosevelt, who goes for two. And it's good. Bunn to pass over to Hamina, but it was stolen by Blood. Ridgeway went for two, but it was no good. Janisa now on hold. Janisa over to Bunn. Stolen by Roosevelt and Reining. Back stolen by Janisa and Bunn. Bunn goes up for two, but it's no good. Foul on number 2, Monroe. I'm sorry. On Roby, I believe, actually. One to shoot. And it's up, but it's no good. Roosevelt over to Ridgeway. Ridgeway passing half, looking for an open spot over to Roby, and then Blood. Back to Roby, and then Ridgeway. Ridgeway driving into the key for a two. It's no good. Roosevelt trying to go for a layup. Same with Blood. Blood's is good. Stolen by Ridgeway there. Hinton over to Blood. Stolen back by Hamina and Maxick. Bunn now on the ball. Bucks really just getting hammered by this Rambler defense here, Cade.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there. I mean, with the Ramblers at 53 and the Roscommon Bucks at 22, and we got 1 minute and 17 seconds left in the first, I mean, not in the first quarter, it's the first quarter of the
First game.
second half, but now it's third quarter, of course. But with 53-22, I mean, Ramblers just further proved on who they are and what Coach Mr. O'Malley is. I mean, over the years, he's led the JV girls to very successful seasons, and he's still doing that. He's teaching their players amazing morals on and off the court. It's proven, as his players are very respectable ladies outside of this gym. But with that was a great leadership, and that's exactly what he's bringing to this team. He's leading them into every game and making sure they learn something from every game, every shot, and every pass. I mean, McBain, Coach O'Malley's a great coach for McBain, and he's just given these players an amazing opportunity to grow further and further, as they will. Some of these players will be soon up to varsity next season.
I give it to both the power of the players and the power of the towel that O'Malley has down there. Roby to pass into Ridgeway. Ridgeway over to Rawson, over to Roby. Up to Blood, who's under the bowl, but it's no good for two. Monroe over to Bunn. Bunn over to Mina. Ridgeway trying to steal the ball, but it's not able to win that fight. Bunn to pass in. Bunn over to Mina. Stolen by Blood. Blood goes for the long drive. Goes up for a layup, and it's good. Bunn over to Hamina. Andre trying to go for the steal from Hamina. Janisa over to Bunn. Bucks really looking for an opening here from the Rambler defense. Hamina looking for a pass. Over to Monroe. Hamina trying to shoot for a long three from the inside of what I would believe is the inside of the tennis court. Not exactly sure what that boundary would be on the court, but the white line down there.
Oh, that will be the volleyball.
Is that volleyball?
I believe so.
I thought that was like the tennis and pickleball, the interior side. Yeah.
Could be both.
True. Yeah.
I'm sorry. But anyways, that was your third quarter, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, JV girls game, it's amazing so far. It's a well-battled game so far. I mean, between the Bucks and the Ramblers. But the Ramblers have come up on top since the beginning of the game, and they just keep putting forth that pressure on the Roscommon Bucks. The Bucks can't seem to get anywhere near layups. I mean, it's almost impossible to get in there on the strong defense Tim O'Malley has set.
Yeah.
And with McBain's girls proving why they're undefeated so far this season. I mean, with offense, with them fast breaks, getting those points, those are huge. Those are game changers often with fast breaks. And that's exactly what's been happening as well when you have so many of those. They're fast and they're quick and easy points.
Hall over to Van Polen, up to Roosevelt, who shoots for three, but it's no good. Hall over to Wallinges. Wallinges tries to go up for two, but it's no good. Oh, but Roosevelt goes up for a two, and it's good. Fun to pass in. Over to Hamina. Something I just noticed there, Kate, is that the Ramblers have really toned down their full court pressing here during the last quarter. Van Polen stole the ball. There'll be a travel. Ramblers appearing to really try and just burn rubber, as it would be. Fun over to Hamina. All right, Hamina looking for an opening. Over to Valentino. Valentino over to Bunn. Bunn trying to go for a two, but it's no good. Rambler defense there. Hall, drive up to Wallinges. Wallinges goes for a two, and it's no good. Hall up for a two, and it's no good. Hall up again, it's no good. Blood, and it's no good. Van Polen up for two. And it's solid, splash two. Bunn over to Hamina. Trying to, there's intended receiver there was Valentino, but it was stolen by Roosevelt, who passed it up to Van Polen, who went for a layup, and it was solid. Janisa over to Bunn, back to Hamina. Hamina over to Bunn, over to Maxig, and then Bunn again. Bunn trying to pass through the legs there, but Ramblers just really trying to keep a tight lock on their defense. Bosher out for Hinton. Monroe in for Maxig. John Rowe over to Monroe. Monroe looking for an opening. Over to John Rowe. John Rowe over to Amina. Back to John Rowe. John Rowe driving through the defenses. Tried to pass it over to Janisa, but was unable to. Knocked out by the Ramblers. Janisa to pass in. Up to Jonro. Stepped out of bounds when it was held by a Rambler. Janisa to pass in again. Janisa looking for an open player. Kate, I believe that was because of too long of a hold. I'm not quite certain on all basketball rules, but I believe...
No, that was, so right there, what you would call that is when the player didn't get it in time.
Okay.
And once you don't want the game just to be sitting there the entire time, so the players are giving them out the time to be able to pass it in. That's exactly what happened there.
Gotcha. Hinton up for three, but it was no good. So it's sort of like a shot clock then at that.
Correct.
Travel by Wallinges. Janisa over to for Hamina. Thought that was a 1 there, folks. Hamina over to Jonro, over to Janisa. Janisa over to Hamina. Stolen by Van Polen. Intended receiver was Jonro. Van Polen running all the way up for a layup, and it's good. Jonro over to Hamina. Looking for an opening, back to Monroe. And defended by Wallinges there. Over to Janisa. Janisa back to Monroe. Looking for a way, but trying to pass it to Valentino. But Roosevelt up to Van Polen, who was able to save that there and keep it in play. Over to Roosevelt, who was able to then use that save up for a 2. Monroe now with the hold. Over to Janisa. Janisa over to Hamina. Hamina looking for a shot. Went for a 2, but it's no good. Hinton now. Hinton over to Van Polen. Van Polen up to Roosevelt. Over to Hall. Back to Van Polen. Over to Hinton, but it's almost stolen by Jonro, but knocked out of bounds. Ball rolled under the table, according to the ref. Hinton to pass in. Over to Ridgeway. Over to Roosevelt. Getting blocked by Monroe. Over to Ridgeway. Back to Roosevelt, who shoots for 3. And it's good. Splash 3. Amazing 3-pointer here in the 4th quarter by Roosevelt. Run over to Monroe. Over to Jonro. Jonro driving into the key. Bounce pass over to Valentino. Unsteady ball through the Rambler defenses. Valentino unable to accept the ball. A lot of excitement there around the court. Ridgeway from Roby. Over to Hinton. Back to Ridgeway. Over to Hinton. Back to Ridgeway. Just a little pass, Ridgeway. Ridgeway over to Hinton at the front of the 3. Travel, though. Ridgeway shoots for 3, but it's no good. Monroe over to Bunn. Bunn over to Monroe. Monroe driving in. Heavy defense from the Ramblers. Giving Ava Rawson with the foul, giving Monroe 2. First one's no good. Off the back of the fishbowl. Second one also no good. Bouncing off the back of the fishbowl again. Roscommon and Roby. Roby calling the shots. Over to Hinton. Over to Roby. Roby up to Roscommon. Over to Reining. Reining shooting for three. But it's no good. Bouncing off the back lip of the ring there. Hinton now. Over the shoulder, but is pushed over by Janissa. Over to Valentino. Over to Monroe, who passes it to Bunn. Bunn now driving past the halfway over to Monroe. Monroe looking for an opening. Tried to go over the shoulder, but it was no good for a two. Bunn walled out of bounds by a Rambler. Bunn to pass in over to Monroe. Blood to tap it out. Bunn to pass into Monroe. Monroe goes up for two, but it's no good. Rolling over the backside of the fishbowl. Roby over to Blood. Blood drives past the halfway. Up to Rawson, but it's a little bit overhead. And so goes out of bounds. Monroe over to Bunn. Bunn going with the ball over to Monroe. Monroe looking for an open over to John Rowe. Over to Bunn. Bunn goes behind the backboard trying to get around the defenses, but was unsuccessful. Roby to pass into Blood. 8 seconds left, passing the halfway. Blood to just Ramblers on the hold there.
And that will be the end of your JV girls game with Ramblers 68, Roscommon Bucks 22. Fantabulous game here, I want to say, Cameron. Well fought as well, with the Ramblers taking lead right from the get-go and just completely taking over this game. Well, with a great win by the JV girls, we will see what our varsity girls will do next, and we will see you very soon for that game coming up. It's been a pleasure to announce this game. I am Cade Weaver.
And I'm Cameron Nethaway.
We will see you for a varsity game.